Eamonn Holmes has always been someone people feel like they know, the kind of presence that's steady, familiar, and full of warmth. So when news began to spread that he was recovering in the hospital after a serious health scare, it didn't feel distant or abstract. It felt personal for a lot of people watching from afar. But what's been unfolding since then isn't just a story about illness. It's a story about resilience, humor in the face of difficulty, and the quiet strength that shows up when life suddenly changes pace. From his hospital bed, Eamonn didn't disappear into silence. Instead, he did something that feels very true to who he is. He spoke out. Not dramatically, not with over-the-top emotion, but with honesty, a touch of wit, and that unmistakable charm that's kept audiences connected to him for years. There's something powerful about that image. Not a polished studio, not bright lights or a script, but a real moment. A person dealing with something serious, choosing to stay connected to the world instead of shutting it out. And almost instantly, people responded. Messages began pouring in, support, encouragement, memories, little notes from fans who followed his career for years. It turned into something bigger than just an update. It became a wave of connection, a reminder that even in quiet hospital rooms, you're never really alone. What stands out most, though, is the tone he's carried through it all, because this could easily have been a heavy, somber narrative, but Eamonn has never really been about that. Even now, there's a lightness in the way he communicates, a sense that yes, this is serious, but it's not the end of his story. There's humor tucked into his words, the kind that makes you smile, not because the situation is easy, but because the person facing it refuses to let it take everything from them. Maybe it's a small joke about hospital routines, or a playful comment about missing everyday comforts, but those little moments matter. They change the mood. They remind everyone watching that strength doesn't always look like silence or toughness. Sometimes it looks like a smile in the middle of a difficult day. And behind all of that is something deeper, a process of recovery that isn't rushed. Because healing, especially after something as serious as a stroke, takes time. It's not about quick fixes or overnight transformations. It's about patience, small wins, and the kind of determination that builds quietly, day by day. You can almost picture those moments, the slow progress, the effort it takes to regain energy, to feel like yourself again. The kind of progress that might not look dramatic from the outside, but means everything on the inside. And through it all, there's this ongoing conversation between Eamonn and the people supporting him. It's not one-sided. He shares updates and they respond. He shows resilience and they reflect it back with encouragement. That connection adds something special to the story. It turns recovery into something shared, something collective. Not just one person getting better, but a whole community rooting for that outcome. There's also something quietly inspiring about how he's approaching it. No grand speeches, no exaggerated claims, just honesty. Acknowledging the challenge, respecting the process, and moving forward one step at a time. And maybe that's what makes it feel so real.
Life doesn't always give you neat, dramatic turning points. Sometimes it gives you slow mornings, long days, and the need to keep going even when it's not easy. And seeing someone navigate that with a sense of humor and grace, that sticks with people. It also brings a different kind of perspective. The things that usually feel urgent suddenly don't seem as important. The small comforts, a familiar voice, a kind message, a moment of laughter, start to feel bigger. There's a warmth to this story that goes beyond the situation itself. It's in the way people have come together, in the way Eamonn continues to engage, and in the sense that even difficult chapters can carry moments of light. And yes, there's a bit of romance in that too, not in the traditional sense, but in the idea of connection, of people showing up for each other, even from a distance, of finding something meaningful in the middle of uncertainty. It's the kind of story that reminds you how strong human connection can be. Of course, none of this takes away from the seriousness of what he's been through. A stroke is a major event, and recovery requires real effort, real care, and real time. But what makes this story compelling isn't just the challenge, it's the response to it. It's the decision to stay present, to keep communicating, to face the situation without losing personality or spirit. And maybe, in a way, that's what people are responding to the most, because it feels genuine. As the days pass, each update becomes another small milestone, another sign of progress, another reason for people to keep hoping, keep supporting, keep believing that he's on the path back to full strength. And there's something quietly exciting about that, not in a loud, dramatic way, but in a steady building sense of momentum, the kind that grows stronger over time. You can imagine the moment when he finally steps back into a familiar setting, feeling more like himself again. That return, whenever it comes, won't just be about work or routine. It'll be about everything he's overcome to get there. And when that moment arrives, it's going to feel earned. Until then, the story continues, not as a headline, but as a journey, one that's unfolding in real time, shaped by effort, support, and a mindset that refuses to give up. And if there's one thing this whole experience highlights, it's that resilience doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's found in a simple message, a shared laugh, or the decision to keep going when things are uncertain. That's what people are connecting with. That's what makes this story stay with you. Because it's not just about a public figure recovering, it's about a human moment that feels relatable, even if the circumstances are different. It's about facing something difficult and choosing to respond with strength, humor, and a willingness to stay connected. And that's something anyone can take inspiration from. So, as the support continues to pour in and the recovery moves forward, one thing is clear: this story is far from over. In fact, it's still being written, one day at a time. And if you've been following along, you're already part of it. If this journey has caught your attention, stay tuned for more updates, more moments of progress, and more stories that remind us all just how powerful resilience, connection, and a little bit of humor can be, even in the most unexpected situations.